Hey guys, John from the John Muir Show here, and a Minnesota pastor and his church have gotten the boot because of their sinful ways. Yet the Evangelical Covenant Church has overwhelmingly voted to expel First Covenant Church in Minneapolis, as well as its Reverend Dan Collison. The Reverend has had his credentials removed. And this all happened after Collison and the First Covenant Church in Minneapolis permitted homosexual marriage in said house of God. And now this decision has sparked some outrage, but it absolutely was the correct decision, because the Bible clearly states that homosexuality is a sin. And you know that the church is the house of the Lord, and there is absolutely no room for sinful behavior in the house of the Lord. But that's exactly what was going on here. This Reverend Collison and this church, they were allowing this sinful behavior to take place in the church, seemingly because Collison and the other leaders of that church thought, hey, you know what, we like homosexuality, we like homosexual marriage, it's totally fine, so you know what, we're going to do it, we're going to condone it in this church, we're going to let homosexual people get married in our church, all because we want them to and we think that's right. And I mean, it's not right, it's just so wrong, because again, you're talking about the house of the Lord. Yeah, you got to keep in mind that the Lord is supposed to be number one at all times. Focus is supposed to be kept on Him and His commands. So yeah, even if this Reverend and some of the other leaders in the church in Minneapolis there might have thought that homosexuality is okay, the Lord in the Bible clearly states that it is not okay, that it is a sin, and the Lord's desires should definitely come ahead of any earthly desires, any human being's desires, but that is not what was happening at this church in Minneapolis with this Reverend Collison. So you know what, props to the ECC for giving this hack Collison the boot and saying to this church, yeah, you're not going to be associated with us any longer if you're going to be promoting this kind of sinful behavior. Good for them for making that decision and being willing to deal with any stupid scrutiny that comes their way as a result. And now, of course, for the past 30 days now, throughout the entire month of June, we're having to hear about a lot of this homosexual stuff because it was deemed Pride Month, and there was a bunch of different events that were taking place, you know, these different pride parades and pride festivals to honor this sinful behavior, and it is just so disgusting to see because, look, I get it. We're all sinners. All of us sin in our own ways, and you know what? Hey, the Lord says that all sins are equal in His eyes. So look, I'm not here to try and say that I'm better than other people. Not at all. That's not what I'm going for right here. For each individual human being, it's about their relationship with God, and if there are any issues, if there's any sin going on, I firmly believe that's between that person and the Lord. But note that, you know, sinful behavior, it is not meant to be propped up. It is not meant to be glorified. And that is exactly what happens when you have these homosexuals and their supporters going around and holding these events that are strictly based on celebrating a specific sinful behavior. In this case, we're talking about homosexuality. And you know what? Look, I am just so glad that finally all of these stupid pride festivals are done, all these stupid pride parades are done, all those rainbow flags that are meant to symbolize homosexual pride have been taken down, so we don't have to deal with this crap anymore, because I am sick and tired of folks propping sinful behavior up on a pedestal. This kind of crap has to stop, and props to this evangelical church here in the United States for saying that they're not going to have any part of it. Props to them for that great decision they made. And that's all the time that we have for today. John Muir Show, back at it tomorrow and each and every weekday, 8:40 a.m. on WTAQ, 9 a.m. WSAU and WHBL. Till next time, I'm out.